This is Shawn SageHeartSoul.com. I'm here to touch hearts and lift spirits today. We're starting a little bit early. If anybody can see me, would you let me know? You can leave a comment, thumbs up. I should be able to see it over here on the chat side. And I'd really appreciate that. We're a little bit early, maybe a minute or so early. So I'm just working out the kinks, hoping somebody can see me. So if you can, give me a hello. There's always something with this stuff. I've figured out there's always something happening or something going on, or it's just really something. But right now, we're going to start. So again, I'm so happy that you're joining me. If you are, we'll spend about 30 minutes. I'm still getting this going well and trying to build an audience. And so I hope you enjoy what I try to do and help people. And that's what I'm about. So I'm not comments or negative comments to be given to me. I just try to help people treat each other. I hope we can treat each other kindness, love, and respect. And our world needs a lot more of that. I know the connection last week was it was a real bug. It had anything to do with it. Don't see everything the way I would like, and so I am chats up and everything going. So if you're out there, just say hi. Anyways, I wanted to kind of recap last about that. I'm not sure what the problem is with that. So if you just bear with me, I appreciate it. It just maybe the atmosphere, what we're going through here. So I just appreciate your comments. That was good. I had was about I think it was a really famous guitar out of the world. In fact, there's people who just love him, and Jack Clark Smith, and we've lost our signal again. Apologize. It's going to bounce in out, it looks like. So just bear with me. I'll try to watch it here and quit talking when it does that so we can catch up. Anyways, they just didn't get paid like they should have. They didn't have contracts that benefited them. They benefited big companies. And, you know, it wasn't right, but it didn't take away the value of those beautiful people on our earth and the importance of them and their importance when it came their talent and bringing that to us. So I keep this journal. I told you I'm a big journaler. I do have some journals out there under ShawnO'Neill.com. You can get them, or Shawn O'Neill, and you can get them on Amazon, I think. And so I do believe in writing, whatever, not necessarily with spirit or any of that, just in general to write. I forget things, and so I like to be able to look back and use that resource. But I had this opportunity to speak with this gentleman from England, and it was interesting because his wife had passed away not too long ago, and a beautiful person. And even though I never met her, just from her, I got her. I got hair in my face here. I got her program, and it was just so wonderful to read about her. But it was funny because I did was able to read for my friend in England and tell him that I saw her holding a big fluffy thing that was dark and like a pillow or stuffed animal. I couldn't tell, but I said it a teenager, maybe brown, and I, heading up to what I identified with. Because remember, I told you when spirit comes to me, I have to try to get that out to the person in the way I can. And so I use from my base, my memory base, describing or articulate person, and then the person be able to make that connection. Oh yeah. So there's a little bit of um, you know, iffiness there as to, oh, am I getting this? Am I not getting it? But anyways, I had seen what I associated to be the White Cliffs of Dover, big cliffs through. Interesting when I finally was able to share that with him and how much she enjoyed their marriage and their years together. He told me, he said, when we were kids, we had first got together when we were in high school or school. And one of the very first things he had given her was what he called a dressing gown. And a dressing gown for them is the same as a robe for us here in the United States, but she loved it. And so it was Christmas time. It was one of her first gifts that he had ever given to her. And then in the area where they lived, they were walk up and be on top looking out over the ocean. And he said she loved it. She loved being standing there and enjoying that. They had so much fun as young people and enjoyed that very much. And they were like the White Cliffs of Dover. They were just up on big cliffs. So it was interesting to see what I was able to get. The beautiful thing for him is he comes from a nation spirit everywhere, but they're back on again. So there's going to be some birdie tail. I apologize. If you're out there, wave at me, say hi. Love to see that. The thing is, he had a relationship with the other side a little bit because he grew up in that area. And there's a lot of spiritualist churches there. And they do healings and they do readings for people and things like that in those churches. And so he knew very well. He said they knew a man and he would come to his mother and grandmother and give them information once in a while when he got it. And so it truly is a gift to be able to share that with people. And I thought it was interesting too. I happened to, I flip through the scriptures every day. So what I do is I open it up, wherever it opens to, I read that because I figure I must needed to hear that today. I don't have time to sit there and read it the way I'd like to or to study it. I have read it once or twice, but to be able to do that all the time, I don't have that time right this minute. And one of the things I turned to today specifically was when Jesus on the cross, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, at noon, and when he passed, in the moment he passed, everything went dark. The curtain in the temple ripped in two. A few other things, major things happened, earthquakes happened. But one of the interesting things was it talks about all the spirits of outside of town that rose up, walked into their town, and saw. I think it's too outlandish for us to think spirit gets around, right? They still come and visit. I think that's great. Okay. I'm so happy that when I tell you that we are so much more than what the outer part of us is, that it's just, and you might have jumped right then, guys. I had another one of those. Oops, the connection's lost moments. So it's so nice to have validation even in the scriptures about those events. And so it just, again, and it reminds me that that's truly what we are. We're spirit, and it's a beautiful thing. So, hey, and any highs yet? But if you are, give me a high. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm going to raise this a little bit. But if you can give me a wave or a shout out or write a message, that would be great. Let's see. If I shout out hi to you guys, does anybody see that? I'll put a hi on there. There you go. Oh, yeah. And I thought today that we would go through some more. So let me look in the journal because, of course, I'm not sure who's out here or if anybody is. So let me just babble like a brook. I don't mind. And oh, you know what? This was a Christmas time. I'm looking back in the book here. So this was actually December 12th, 2021. Okay. Got it right here in my little book. My sweetheart and I had gone to one of the department stores and we were buying cologne for some of the grandkids or whoever that like cologne. This very nice woman was helping us. And the more I stood around her, I got this interesting feeling that I get. And I started talking to her and told her a little bit about what I do and asked her if she would mind if I shared some information with her. And I asked her if she ever remembered somebody that was a family member that wore a green dress. She wore her hair in a bob. She loved that color green, and she looked like she was from the 50s. She dressed in that kind of era. And if any of that sounded familiar to her, and at first she said no, but like I told you, it doesn't mean a person who gives you information is incorrect. This may not resonate right then. We have a lot of life in between some of these moments that we have to live through in order to get back to those significant little moments, right? And at first she said no, but when we started talking, she said, you know, that sounds like my sister. And she said her sister's name. And um, she had mentioned for a second that she had lost a boy. And that's all she said about it. And we went on. I had to go on further into the store and look at some other colognes. And 15 minutes or so passed. And we walked back towards there. And here came that little feeling I told you of intensity I get sometimes. And I told her that I could see a tall male with a great big smile. And I told her that I could see a red object or a red, big round, something red object. It says here that I got brave and mentioned and asked this lady about this red object that I'd been talking to, because you got to remember, I'm getting something for somebody I don't know in a place I shouldn't be getting it, but spirit knows to connect, right? They go, hey, this person can do this. Let me see if I can talk to her. So I tell her what I ask her again, if she minds, and she tells me again, I think that's my sister. And then she goes, um, and the reason she said that is when this person had passed, they were kind of well off, financially. And they had all walked up a big hill and released several balloons. And they were, and so it was interesting that she was able to make that connection like that. And that's what I'm telling you. It's interesting too because when I talked to her a little bit more, I mentioned about her son being tall and his hair had a, I can't remember what it was. I told her about the hair. I don't know if I wrote it, but it had this great big beautiful smile, and he was okay. And she told me right then that she was angry at him for a while. And it had hurt her, and I looked at her and I said, "Here's what I'm getting from him. He doesn't want you to be angry. Whatever his decision was, even though it wasn't the way you wanted that to be, and he made that choice and it was a disastrously hard one for him, that he loved you and he didn't do it to hurt you." It's just sometimes people think that's their only way out. That's all they can see. And we don't always know that. In fact, I'm going to tell you something. When I was a police officer, um, a lot of times folks that hurt themselves never told anybody that they thought about that, never mentioned it, never dwelled on it. They just left a note and did it. And we don't understand. We don't understand when they make that choice. But I want you to know, I don't think you go to hell. I don't think you are not loved by your father any more or less, because to me, that's such an extreme measure that there's something going on that you just did not feel you had any help for. And so when we're like that, I feel like he looks at us and he genuinely can look and pick through the mess and figure out where we were right then in our thinking, that we forgot that we didn't need to do that. And so he loves us. He loves us just the same. And it's just something that we have to think about. And when we got done, she had a big smile on her face. We had talked enough that she felt comfortable with the information that she had received. That, don't you think it warmed her heart a little bit to feel like her family members were still there, still loving on her, still being around her? This woman's I'm older, but she was quite a bit older, and she's still having to work every day and didn't have a lot of family. So I think it did a lot for her to know that there were still family members out there, and it's a beautiful thing. So, hey, again, if anybody's out there, send me a thumbs up, a hi. I would love to hear from you. Don't know if you can see this. Like I said, I'm getting little messages that we have a connection, we don't have a connection, it's lost, it's not lost. So I don't know where we're at in the big scheme of things here today. Um, I hope for all of you that you are enjoying this weekend. I hope that I hope that you had a chance to enjoy Thanksgiving. I swear we go from Halloween to Christmas. And we spend about 30 minutes killing ourselves to make Thanksgiving dinner, and we go on, and it's like it's just over. And we have a lot to be thankful for. I tried to share too that I honor my native culture. Honor all people. Okay. When I say that we are supposed to love each other, we are. When I tell you that there's not every single solitary one of us is related to everybody else, every one of us, we are no different. We just get raised different in different places, but we are all biologically connected. And so I think Thanksgiving, because of some of the negative and terrible tragedy that happened at Thanksgiving time here in the United States, 700 men and women and children were slaughtered on that day. That was wrong. No other way to say it. That was wrong. Okay. So I think what we need to do as people is love one another, celebrate our Thanksgiving for the people who did come here in the right frame of mind, and for our beautiful nation and our families, and respect for all, respect for human life. And so that's what I choose to think on now when I think about Thanksgiving, is some positives. All right. think it's a great holiday. I think that we just need to kind of, make it work, make it work in a more loving and kind way than it has. Um, Christmas is coming. I hope that you are all going to be very safe out there and enjoy getting those gifts, but more so that you enjoy just the season, just thinking about the baby and Mary and Joseph and riding on a little mule. Did you know that the mule that Mary rode on is the only animal in the animal kingdom that literally has a cross on its back? I love that story. That little mule that she got up on is the only one in the world, the only animal in the world with a cross on its back. Now, why is that? That would tell me that was pretty significant. That was Cadillac back in them days. So bless her heart, and she gave us that beautiful baby. And the wise men, they snuck around. They came through and said, "Hey," to the king. "Hey, king." And it was kind of interesting that they even listened to their intuitive side and knew that if they went back through there, that they risked this baby being slaughtered, or they risked their lives being ended as well. And so when they left the baby, after they found the baby and after they'd already seen the king, they left and went different directions home so that nobody would find them. And so many into place to help that baby become who he became. And so the reason for Christmas is really not so much about those presents, but the presents that were given to us just in the mere fact that we have hope, love, and joy that was bestowed upon us through the birth of this baby, and the bright star and his mother and dad who didn't lose their faith inside of a really scary situation. Because when you consider it, Mary wasn't married to Joseph right at that very moment. I don't know if they were married right when the baby came, but she conceived that baby before she was married to Joseph, which was a slap in his face, technically, by community. And if it hadn't been, I mean, Joseph was considering he could have stoned her to death. He could have harmed her. He could have done a lot of things, but he didn't want to do any of those things to him, to her. And what was even more interesting is that when he went to sleep one night, an angel came to him. God presented an angel to him, and he told him, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay. She didn't go out and betray you. This is a special deal here." And it helped him. And instead of losing faith in that whole situation, talk about in a community where it all would have been okay to take her life, he just didn't do it. And thank goodness that he had faith of things he could not see, which is very interesting, isn't it? Faith of things he could not see, but he knew they were right. So that's a little bit about what we all can do. But I hope that as you're out this time of year and you're out buying and spending, and don't forget those things. That's huge for us. That's the very reason we are out spending. We are able to spend. We are able to be who we are today. Okay. Um, I'm not sure anybody's out there. If you are, try to give me a hello, or Anaima, if you're up and you can see me at all, call me. If it's blanking in or out, let me see if she wrote me a note. Let's see. I'm not sure. I so I don't have any messages from her, so I'm going to assume that nobody's watching. You're having a hard time because of the connection. I'm not sure what that issue is. Um, so I think what I'll do today is I might end a few minutes short. I apologize for that, but it's hard when I have to stay up and up here. So I did pull, I thought, because I pulled a card for us. So I don't know how many of you go through your house, and literally for you all throughout your days. Okay. Well, one of them for me that always showed up, and actually before I was really understanding what I could do or who what work is a dead body. And oh, hold on, here's my aunt. Let's see if she can see us. Hey, Aunt Ima, can you see us? Has it been an okay video? Okay. It's breaking up because you're on the phone. Okay. Oh, sorry. It's just a connection. That's okay. We'll just keep trying. We'll get it. I love you. Bye. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Love you. Bye. Okay. Bye. She told me that I'm breaking up, so I really do apologize for that. I just can't fix it, you guys. I don't know what the deal is with that. But we'll just keep going here a few more minutes. But anyways, 903 in police language is a dead body in my part of the world. And even though I'm not a police officer anymore, I mean, you learn that language, it just stays with you. It's like anything, you know. But that number 903, I used to think, oh, gosh, why do I keep getting that? You know, that's not any fun. What's that about? Well, really, 903 is just don't worry. Be happy, don't worry. Everything's going to be okay in angel numbers. Well, another one I see all the time is this 1111. 1111 angel number. So let me tell you, I'm going to do it through the book today, okay? Remember, I didn't write this book, so I can't take any credit for what this author, Alana Fairchild, has done, but this is her interpretation of 1111. So let's just read it, see what it says for us today. Okay, messages in the numbers. The universe is speaking to you through numbers from your phone. It repeats in your alarm clock. It shows up in weird places. Numbers are energetic medicine. They have their own frequency in the universal language of love, and they help heal and guide you. That's why we see them. There are no numbers. So if you see a number, it's not ever going to have a negative meaning to you. There aren't any. It tells you to look and see what you notice most of the time in the way of numbers. The frequency of 1 is about beginnings, taking an initiative, roles, maybe in leadership, being conscious of others around you and of the human race, trying to push it forward in love, which is really what I try to do. One, I'm going to show several of them, but our indication from this 1111 number is to give thanks for messages, healing, support, energy, and to help us feel encouraged right now and always in giving and receiving unconditional love. Permitting yourself to love unconditionally and heal your mind, your soul, your body. It's a frequency that heals body. And being able to feed and love, giving guidance, intelligence, and support while you're nurturing of the universe through your own free will and grace. Okay. So this beautiful card is this person opening up. I don't know if you can see this person. It's really pretty. See the shoulders and just rising up and just opening up. You know how I told you that this chakra up here is kind of your ethereal, it's kind of your only chakra, and then your third is right here. And they kind of intersect in the brain, the pineal gland. Has a beautiful, you see a lot. 1111, sorry. Another one from 333. I just noticed them because now I understand them better. Well, listen, you guys, I have a feeling that the communication on this may not have been great. I do thank you for tuning in today. Stay with me. We'll get better. Universe around with my signal, but I wish it would knock it off. Surroundings. Be aware